School of Management Studies IGNOU presents an audiobook on the course MMPC 007 Business Communication for MBA program. Presenting Block 2 Oral Communication at Work, Unit-7 Communication in Meetings, Part-2. In Part 1, we have discussed Introduction, Meetings and Overview, Types of Meetings, Meeting Preparations, Minutes of the Meetings, Features of Productive Meetings, and Input, Process, Output Model. In Part 2, we will discuss Managing Conflicts in Meetings, Meeting Etiquettes, Effective Decision Making in Group Communication, and Summary. Let's listen to Part 2.
Managing conflicts in meetings. Diversity in participating members, like qualities, affiliations, and viewpoints in meetings, are ideal to produce the best decisions. However, this particular feature sows the seeds of discord. It is an important aspect of problem solving and making decisions. It's a natural byproduct of trying to reach a consensus on a topic or situation. Each participant will have a unique perspective on the problem as well as diverse values, priorities, and preferences. During the conversation, these differences are brought to light. Effective decision making and problem solving require conflict. You implicitly acknowledge the benefit of diversity, the very same diversity that guarantees conflict. To fully benefit from the collective judgment of all of the group members, they must be willing to differ, pointing out mistakes, and even argue. Definition of conflict. A variety of definitions exist for conflict. The best one is given by Hawker and Wilmot. Conflict is an expressed struggle between at least two interdependent parties who perceive incompatible goals, scarce resources, and interference from the other party in achieving their goals. Positive and negative outcomes of conflict. Conflicts in meetings have both positive and negative outcomes. Some potential benefits of conflict are: first, it can produce a better understanding of issues and people. Human beings have a tendency to assume that people see things and feel as they do. When in the meeting, participants discover different opinions on the issues, they become uncertain about their own position, seek actively to get more information about the issue, are able to take the perspective of the other members and make an informed decision. Second, conflicts can be motivating. Conflicts in meetings actively involves people. They pay close attention to the issue. Third, conflicts can produce better decisions. Conflicts tell us that people disagree. Then we explore why they disagree. Eventually, the group finds flaws and tries to work upon them so that the outcome satisfies everyone. Fourth, conflicts can provide cohesiveness among group members. When the participants experience and resolve conflicts successfully, the members develop ties that hold the group together. Although the conflicts are beneficial, we all have seen how harmful they can be. First, conflicts can cause bad feelings. Second, people at times, when disagreeing with each other, lose their temper. They might use hurtful language that may cause bad feelings and can spoil relationships forever. Third, conflicts can lower group cohesiveness. Fourth, not all conflicts lead to group cohesiveness. If people feel that they are not valued in the group, they may not like to contribute. Fifth, conflicts can be destructive. Major unresolved conflicts may lead to time waste without reaching the decision. Therefore, it is important to manage the conflict and make the meetings productive. Meeting etiquettes. Meetings place you in front of employees and employers with whom you may not work on a regular basis. As a result, how one acts in the meetings could create a lasting impression. Barbara Pastor, a career coach and author of the book The Essentials of Business Etiquette, suggests following 10 meeting etiquettes you should follow. First, be on time. To avoid wasting the time of yourself and others, make sure you come on time. It is beneficial to come prepared for the meeting ahead of time. Second, make introductions. To know others and to let others know you, it is a good tradition to begin a meeting by introducing each member to the team. It should also start by introducing the person of the highest rank first. Third, have a strong agenda. Strong agenda helps to keep the discussion on track. It is the facilitator's responsibility to get the discussion back on track if it gets off track. Fourth, sit appropriately. The way you sit in the meeting helps you get involved and heard. Fifth, speak up. Meetings are called to hear your opinions on issues. Do not sit quietly. Add your thoughts related to the topic being discussed and contribute qualitatively. Sixth, understand the unwritten speaking rules. Some rules are universal. You may disagree with people, but rude and aggressive interjections may damage your reputation. Learn to interrupt politely. Seventh, do not take phone calls during the meeting. It's a very bad manners to talk on the phone while others are discussing something important. If the call is urgent, make an excuse and leave the room. Eighth, do not drink and eat during the meeting. It is okay to eat or drink during the meeting if it is served to everyone. Avoid eating and drinking personal stuff as it may make noise or give off smells that are disruptive. Ninth, clean up after yourself. It is unprofessional to leave the place dirty after yourself. 10th, do not save all your questions for the end. Ask your questions at the appropriate time. Keeping all the questions for the end may make others uneasy as they might like to end the meeting on time. These etiquettes, if adhered to, enhance the professional behavior and makes the meetings productive. Effective decision making in group communication. Every organization's growth is driven by the ability of management to make effective decisions. The quality of decisions depends largely on the efficacy of communication within the organization. For decision making, meetings are held at various levels in the organization. Hence, communication plays an important role in reaching an effective decision. Small group communication refers to the act of communication among 3 or more people for a common goal or purpose. They are used in different settings such as work groups, social events, or influence groups. Small group communication is an essential part of group decision making, and meetings are a way in which group communication works. Therefore, it is important to understand small group communication for effective decision making. In terms of business communication, small groups are limited to achieving a specific objective. Small groups fulfill 3 different needs of an individual: instrumental, interpersonal, and identity needs. Let us discuss the functional theory of small group communication to understand how communication plays a role in the effective decision-making process. Functional theory of communication. The functional theory, also called the functional theory of group communication, is a set of statements, beliefs, and claims that attempts to explain how and why communication affects the quality of decisions made by a group. It explains how communication influences group decision making and how communication should be structured to make better decisions. This theory was first proposed by Dennis Gorin and Randy Hirokwa in 1983. They state that 3 influences shape the theory: John Dewey's work on reflective thinking, Robert Bale's work on interaction process analysis, and Irving Janis' work on watchful decision making. In 1910, John Dewey proposed a method for problem solving in his book How We Think. In this method, he suggested that reflective thinking is the key to solving a problem and gave 5 steps which are as follows. First, finding the difficulty or problem. Second, where and what is the problem. Third, proposing possible solutions. Fourth, determining the consequences of the solution by reasoning and implication. Fifth, accepting or rejecting a solution by experimenting or observing them. The second influence was of Robert Bale in his work Interaction Process Analysis, that is IPA, and he stated that small group communication is influenced by the ability of group members to deal with functional problems. He identified 4 functional problems, which are adaptation, instrumental control, expression, and integration. Adaptation and instrumental control relate to decision-making termed as task concerns, whereas expression and integration relate to the management of relationships termed as socio-emotional concerns. Bale suggested that a balance between these 2 is necessary for making a better decision. In IPA, he highlighted 12 categories, out of which 6 were related to task functions, that is, decision making, and the other 6 are related to socio-emotional concerns. Bale's work highlighted the role of interpersonal behavior and personality in group communication. In 1970, Bale developed the 3-dimensional model of interpersonal personality in the book SimLog, that is, System for the Multiple Level Observation of Groups, which was considered to be an extension of IPA. This model helps in determining the personality of group members. In the present scenario, SimLog has been used as a tool to determine the different behavior and personality of individuals as considered deemed fit for different organizational roles. The third influence is Irving Janis' work on vigilant decision making. He suggested that groups sometimes fail in making effective decisions because of the pressure to reach a consensus on each team member during meetings. According to his work, a vigilant group should follow the following steps to reach a solution. First, Analyze all possible alternatives or solutions. Second, analyze objectives to be achieved. Third, examine all risks and benefits of alternatives. Fourth, search all relevant information. Fifth, unbiased processing of information. Sixth, reassesses alternatives concerning risks and benefits. Seventh, planning implementation of selected alternatives along with contingency plan. Each of these influences highlights the functional nature of the communication. Hence, according to the functional theory, a group should adopt the following practices to achieve the purpose of a group meeting and make an effective decision. First, identify the type of solutions that the problem requires. The solutions are based on whether the group is seeking to address a fact, speculation, value, or policy issue. Second, assess the qualities of an effective solution. Members of the group should create criteria that the preferred alternative must meet. Third, members of the group should come up with a wide range of possible alternatives for the problem. Fourth, members should critically evaluate all alternatives to determine what makes an effective solution. This criteria implies that group members have the necessary skills, knowledge, and objectivity. Fifth, choose the alternative that fulfills the criteria for an effective solution while comparing all available alternatives. In light of these practices, communication plays 3 different roles in group communication: positive, disruptive, and counteractive. Each of these roles is defined as follows. First, positive role. The group is able to complete the functional requirements successfully. Second, disruptive role. It serves to create roadblocks that obstruct or prevent the group from meeting any of the requirements for effective decision making. Third, counteractive role. It serves to nullify or neutralize a communicative act that has had a disruptive effect. It is evident that communication is used in a different sense to resolve conflicts and reach a consensus in group meetings. However, this theory was criticized by various researchers on various issues. One such issue relates to a lack of consideration for how individuals interact outside the group or create subgroups. Another criticism revolves around the fixed set of conditions for functional communication. Further, the question of how a decision can be judged as good or bad limited the theory. In response to these criticisms, Gorin and Hirakawa revised the theory in their book Communication and Group Decision Making. They added the relational dimension of groups in the process of decision making. They introduced 3 dimensions, that is, affiliative, cognitive, and egocentric. The affiliative dimension states that group members are unduly preoccupied with relationships. The cognitive dimension states that information processing is hampered. The egocentric dimension states that personal motivation dominates group goals. These dimensions may limit the entire process of decision making to reach an effective decision. Therefore, as a response to criticism and these dimensions, the functional theory was extended further. The following practices were suggested in addition to the initial 5 mentioned above. First, make it apparent that group members want to make the best decision possible. Second, identify the resources that are essential to make such a decision. Third, identify the potential barriers to overcome. Fourth, specify the steps that must be taken to complete the task. Fifth, establish rules of interpersonal communication. Sixth, utilize appropriate solutions to overcome affiliative, cognitive, and egocentric restrictions that hinder the successful completion of basic task needs. Seventh, examine the group's decision-making process and, if necessary, revise any solutions reached. These theories give an idea of how groups perform in the meetings, and based on the performance of groups, the decision is taken. Summary. Meetings have both advantages and disadvantages. To make effective use of meetings, a number of things needs to be reviewed. The first and most important one is to identify the meeting's objective. Once it is clear, it is important to consider pre-meeting arrangements. This involves who should be invited to the meeting, what should be the agenda, which additional information should be shared with the participants, and what should be the physical or virtual arrangement. Overlooking any of these may impact the effectiveness of the meeting. The unit highlights that conflicts are inevitable in meetings and are also essential for productive outcome. Handling the conflicts effectively will bring positive results, which can be achieved by following proper meeting etiquette. The unit also discusses various theories for effective decision making.
You are listening to audiobook by School of Management Studies IGNOU for MBA program. Course code MMPC 007 Business Communication, Block 2, Unit-7, Part-2. Course Coordinator Professor Neeti Agrawal from School of Management Studies IGNOU. Voiceover by Santosh Bharati. Edited by Tarannum Jahan. Program assisted by Jagbandhu Jana. And program produced by Manoj Kumar Singh. This program was brought to you by Electronic Media Production Center of Indira Gandhi National Open University.